Imagine a night so dark, it feels as if the universe itself has forgotten to twinkle. A night where the moon hides behind thick, ominous clouds, and the stars are but a distant memory. Somewhere, at the end of an eerily quiet street, sits an abandoned house. A house that has seen better days, now shrouded in an unsettling silence that hangs heavily in the air. In the midst of this spectral calm, the wind seems to play a mournful tune, whispering warnings to those who dare to venture near. The rustling leaves seem to echo tales of the unseen, of the secrets this forsaken abode holds. And there in the dimly lit street stands our protagonist, a teenager whose curiosity has led him to this place, a thrill seeker, drawn to the unknown, the unexplored. Oblivious to the cautioning wind and the hushed whispers of the night, he stands outside the house, unaware of the horrors that await him. Every house has a history, and this one, it has a history painted in fear and whispers of the unseen. In the quiet, forgotten corners of Japan, a certain house stands, or rather, cowers. Its timbers groan with the weight of a past filled with unease and incidents that defy logical explanation. This is a place where the line between the physical and the spectral is blurred, a place abandoned not by choice, but by sheer terror. The house, once a home, is now nothing more than a canvas for the unseen dwellers, the yokai. In the realm of Japanese folklore, yokai are supernatural beings, specters that inspire fear and fascination in equal measure. But here, they're not just tales spun around a late-night fire. Here, they're as real as the shadows that stretch across the worn tatami mats. In the dead of the night, whispers seep through the cracks in the walls, strange ethereal murmurs that speak of the yokai's presence. Some nights a chilling laughter echoes through the empty halls, a sound that sends shivers down the spine of the bravest souls. Other nights, it's the soft, eerie hum of a lullaby that permeates the silence, sung by a mother yokai to her ghostly offspring. Objects move of their own accord, disappearing and reappearing in the most unlikely places. Doors slam shut with no one around to close them. Lights flicker and dim, as if struggling against an unseen force. And then, there are the sightings. Fleeting glimpses of translucent figures, distorted faces peeking from behind sliding doors, and spectral eyes that glow in the inky darkness. This is why the house was abandoned, left to the mercy of time and the yokai. The humans who once called it home could no longer bear the inexplicable happenings, the constant fear, the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Little did our brave protagonist know he was about to become a part of this terrifying history. With a deep breath, he pushes the creaking door open, stepping into the belly of the beast. The air inside is stale, heavy with the weight of years untouched by the living. The silence is all-encompassing, wrapping itself around him like a shroud. It's so silent, it's deafening, the quiet hum of the house itself becoming a symphony of unease. Yet through the stillness, he can almost hear the echoes of whispers, as though the walls themselves are speaking in hushed tones of the stories they've seen unfold. A chill runs down his spine, not from the cold, but from the unseen eyes that seem to be watching him. It's an uncanny feeling, like 1,000 goosebumps crawling up his skin. He shakes it off, attributing it to his overactive imagination. But the feeling of being watched remains, a constant companion in this house of shadows. As he ventures deeper into the house, the strange sensation intensifies. The air grows colder, the silence louder, the walls seem to close in around him, the shadows dancing in the dim light, taking on forms and shapes he dares not name. He feels a disconnect from reality, as if he's stepped into a realm where time stands still, where the dead linger and the living are mere visitors. The house, once a symbol of life and laughter, now a crypt of memories and whispers of the past. With each step, he feels the line between the living and the dead start to blur. In the heart of the house where shadows dance with fear, he encounters them, the yokai. In the chilling silence, he can feel the haunting presence of the unseen dwellers. The air grows dense and the temperature drops drastically, as if the warmth of life is being sucked out of the room. Then, a whispering wind swirls around him, carrying with it a sickly, sweet scent of decay. From the abyss, they start to emerge, the yokai. Their grotesque forms are unlike anything he has ever seen or imagined. They're a terrifying blend of human and creature, each one more horrifying than the last. Some have elongated limbs, others distorted faces, and a few with no faces at all. Their skin, a sickly gray, and their eyes, an ethereal glow that could pierce through the thickest darkness. Each yokai carries with it an aura of despair, their very presence a testament to the tormented souls they once were. They move with an eerie grace, their movements almost like a danse macabre, a dance of death. Their voices, a symphony of shrieks and whispers, fill the room with a cacophony that sends shivers down his spine. Suddenly, he feels a cold hand on his shoulder. He turns around to see a yokai, its face inches from his. Its eyes, devoid of any human emotion, bore into his, and he could feel his sanity slipping away. The yokai opens its mouth, revealing rows of jagged teeth, and lets out a deafening screech that seems to vibrate through his very soul. As the yokai begin to close in on him, their twisted faces contorted in glee, he could only stand there, paralyzed with fear. He could feel their icy breath on his skin, their raspy voices whispering in his ear, their ghastly forms reflected in his wide, terrified eyes. He remembers the tales he dismissed as mere folklore, the warnings he shrugged off as superstitious nonsense. The yokai were not just a figment of an overactive imagination. They were real and they were here. And he, the skeptic, the non-believer, was now face to face with the horrifying reality. Frozen in fear, he realizes the stories were not just stories, but a warning he ignored. In a house where the unseen dwell, escape is a dream woven in despair. Our protagonist, his heart pounding like a war drum, feels his sanity threatened by the relentless pursuit of the yokai. The old house creaks and groans under the weight of its spectral inhabitants, their eerie laughter echoing through the halls, as if mocking his futile attempts to escape. Each room he enters seems to twist and turn, creating a labyrinthine nightmare from which there seems no escape. His breaths come in ragged gasps, the cold terror of the chase frosting his lungs. Doors slam shut with a chilling finality, only to open up into rooms he's already traversed. It's a twisted game of cat and mouse, the yokai toying with him, relishing in his fear. But our protagonist is not so easily defeated. With a surge of adrenaline, he pushes forward, determination burning in his eyes. He can't afford to lose, his life depends on it. He stumbles upon a window, the moonlight seeping in like a beacon of hope. With a swift, desperate motion, he throws it open and leaps, the spectral laughter of the yokai fading into the distance. He lands in a bed of soft grass, the cool night air embracing him. He lies there, panting, feeling the ground beneath him, real and solid. Relief washes over him like a cleansing tide, purging the terror that had gripped him. The house looms ominously in the distance, its dark windows staring back at him like the eyes of the yokai. In the end, he has escaped the physical confines of the haunted house, but the fear, the memories, the terror, they're etched in his mind. As vivid and terrifying as the yokai themselves, he has escaped, but at a cost. A piece of him remains in that house, a piece forever haunted by the chilling memory of the yokai. As he escapes, he leaves behind a part of himself, forever trapped in the haunted memory of the yokai. Once you've peered into the abyss, can you ever truly escape it? A question our protagonist is left grappling with. The encounter with the yokai? It didn't just end at the threshold of that forsaken house. It followed him, seeping into his very soul, a haunting memory that refuses to fade. Every shadow in the corner of his eye, every creak in the silence of the night, brings him back to that chilling confrontation. The experience has scarred him, etching a profound mark on his psyche. The world as he knew it has shifted, replaced with a reality where the unseen lurks in the periphery. The feeling of being watched, the sense of an unseen presence, never quite leaves him. Is it paranoia? Or has a piece of the yokai world clung onto him, a spectral stowaway from the realm of shadows? The house remains a chilling reminder of the unseen world that exists parallel to ours.